Okay, this is the first day of Module 4. Lesson 1 is called Add and Subtract Decimals, and we've kind of done this already with our daily math. When we're adding or subtracting decimals, we have to line up our place values and line up our decimals, which is right here bolded for you. Let's look at this first question. It's going to go all the way down the page for us. While at a grocery store, Robert bought 0.6 pounds of red grapes and 0.34 pounds of green grapes. So we have 0.26 and 0.34. How many total pounds of grapes did Robert buy? So total. Total means we're going to be adding it. And we're going to now go down to here. It says you can use a table to align the place values of decimals to make it easier to add. So 0.26 is already here. And now we're going to put 0.34. So 0.34. Our decimals are lined up, so we're going to take an arrow and draw it down and put our decimal down. Now, I like to draw my arrow because if you draw your arrow down, it should only hit decimals. If it's hitting numbers, that means you have your decimal in the wrong spot. Now we're going to add like normal. 6 plus 4 is 10. 3, 4, 5, 6. And we get a 0. Did we need to regroup? We carried our 1. So, yeah. How many pounds did Robert buy? Robert bought 0.60 pounds. Let's look up over here. We're going to add them. They're written down for us already. We're going to carry our decimal down. 9 plus 5 is 14. 6, 7, 8. So our answer is 8.4. Let's look at this next one. Our decimals are going to go down. 9 plus 7 is 16. 9, 10. 3, 4. So 4.06. Our next one is 7.12 plus, let's make sure we line up our zeros, so not our zeros, our decimals. So if we look at it, we have 0.3. 0 is going to go on this side, our 3 is going to go on this side. In this extra space, we're just going to put a 0. Our decimal goes down. We get 2, 4, and then just the 7. Okay, this one's adding even more numbers in there. Let's see if we can line them up. I'm going to start over here with the 3 and go this way. So I have 3, 2, 1, 0. Decimal, 6, 8, 2. So I wrote that one down. I'm going to put my decimal right here. And then I'm going to look at my number. I have a 9 on the left, and then on the right I have 3, 0, 2. And in this extra space I'm putting a 0. I'm going to go ahead and drop my decimal down. I like to drop my decimal at the beginning so I don't forget it, because sometimes if you wait to the end, you forget your decimal, and if you don't put your decimal there, your answer is wrong. Now we're going to add. We have 3, 4, 1, 3. 6 plus 9 is 15. 8, 9, and a 2. So there's our answer. Now, this down here, they are not gridded like they were up here. If you don't like that, you can get graph paper, or you're going to have to write neat. Neatness is important when we're adding and subtracting decimals to make sure you have them lined up correctly. And then we have point. We line up our decimals, 0, 5. Our decimals drop down. In this blank spot, we're putting a 0. So we have 5, 5, and 12. Next one, a little bit more numbers. 982.599. We're going to put our decimal down. We lined them up. And then we're going to have 0, 2, 5. We have 14, 12, 6, 2, 8, 9. And that's the first page. Let's flip over on the second page. We're going to look at subtraction here. We're going to start with this one right here. A cardinal weighs 1.5, so that's important, ounces. Find the difference in an ounce between the weights of a cardinal and bluebird. The bluebird's right there. Difference means we are subtracting. So let's do that. We're going to write that problem right in here. I have 1.5, so that's that one, minus 1.09. My decimals are lined up, so I get to drop that down. And this blank spot I have to put a 0. I'm going to make my 5 into a 4, and this is a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 4 minus 0 is 4, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So there we go. And we already did B, we did C, and so it weighs 0.41 ounces. Or you could write OZ. Number 1, Julie has a snack for $1. She buys an apple for 49 cents. How much does she have left? That means we're subtracting. So $1, when I just have $1, it'd be 1.00 minus 0.49. Our decimals are lined up. We're going to drop it down. And then we're going to borrow. 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 4 is 5. And we have 0. So she has 51 cents left. You could write it like that, or you could write it like that. Right here. Drop our decimals down. We cannot do 2 minus 3, so I'm going to borrow. 12 minus 3 is 9. 8 minus 6 is 2, so 2.9. Our decimals are lined up, so we're going to drop it down. I cannot do 2 minus 9. I have to go all the way over to my 8 to borrow to make it a 7. We make that a 10, then a 9, make that a 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. 9 minus 9 is 0. 7 minus 3 is 4. So we get 4.03. Now we have to write it on there. So 5.25 minus 1.01. Your decimal always needs to line up. 4, 2, 4. So 4.24. Our next one, we have 0.095 minus 0.009. Our decimals drop down. I cannot do 5 minus 9, so I have to borrow. 15 minus 9 is 6. 8 minus 0 is 8. Then we have our zeros right here. Okay, these ones you have to write really carefully so you can line things up. I have 55.21 minus 10.0031. Now there's nothing above the 3 and the 1, so we have to put zeros there. We now have to borrow. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6. 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 0 is 0. Oop, I forgot to drop down my decimal. Drop it down. 5 and 4. And our last one on this page, I have 10 minus, remember, if it's the whole number, the decimal goes at the end. So our decimals line up. And then we have 3 spaces above this, so we're going to have zeros there. We're going to come borrowing all the way across, drop our decimal down. So 10 minus 1 is 9. Then we get 9, 9, 9. Okay, and that leads us to check understanding. So you're going to try check understanding by yourself. And then if you're doing this by yourself at home, you're going to do check understanding. And then you're going to hit play to see if you did it right. Let's try this. This is a subtracting one. Bring down our decimals. We're subtracting. We're going to make this a 4. We get a 7. we have to make the 9 and 8 and bring our 1 over. 14 minus 9 is 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. This one we're adding. Let's bring down our decimal. 9, 10, 11. 9, 10 plus 6 is 16. And we get a 6 here. Okay. Our next one, we actually have to line them up. It is a subtraction sign. So 4.08 minus 3.975. Again, I line my decimal up so I can drop it down. Up here, I have to put a 0. Borrowing from the 8, 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 7 is 0. Let's borrow. 10 minus 9 is 1. We get a 0 here. Our next one we are adding 0.91 plus 0.487. We get a 0. 7, 9, 13, and then we have a 1 over here. Okay, we are adding 109.2 plus, we're going to line our decimals up, 0.8. Drop my decimal down, 8, 9, 10, 10, 1, 1, so 110. Next one, we're subtracting 15.3 minus 0.009. I'm going to drop our decimal down. And above here, we're putting zeros. We need to borrow. So we get 1, 9, 2, and 15. And this last one, we have a word problem. Jared ran 2 sprints in track practice. His time for his first sprint was 4.64. His time for his second was 4.3. What total time? So that means we're adding. I have 4.64 plus 4.3. We get 4, 9, 8. So 8.94. And that's your check understanding in your first state.